Good day, everyone. We will be discussing teacher education and educational system in Finland. I am Angeline M together with Miss Elliene Erandio and Miss Maria Lhavel Permejo. Before proceeding with the features of the Teacher Education Institute, let's have some facts about Finnish education system. So, children don't start school until they are 7 years old. Unlike other systems, Finnish students only have to sit for centralized exam at the age of 16. All children, regardless of capability, are taught in one classroom. So, children in Finland are not measured at all during the first 6 years of their education. The government pays for the children to learn. It came up with the taxes that being gathered for them to receive a free education. And 93% of Finns graduate high school. So there are 43% attend vocational schools. So at the age of 16, student can decide if they want to attend the Finnish equivalent or of high school to prepare them for university or entering vocational training. So the eighth thing about Finnish educational system is students learn more language in schools. So, at the age of 9 years old, they begin to learn the Swedish or Finland's second official language. So, in elementary school, students get 75 minutes of recess in a day in Finland versus an average of 27 minutes in the United States. So, teachers only spend 4 hours of a day in the classroom and take 2 hours of week for professional development. Another fact about this is the national curriculum is only a broad guideline. So, teachers have the freedom of deciding the best educational methods for their students. So, all teachers in Finland must have a master's degree which is fully subsidized. So, we will know further about this master's degree as we go on. The next fact is teachers are selected from the top 10 of graduates. So, in many countries, it may be easy for one to become a teacher, but in this, it is not because you need to be qualified and you are to compete to be at the top 10 of graduates in order to be selected as a teacher. So, teachers are effectively given the same status as doctors and lawyers. Lastly is teachers stick with students. So, it is good country that has promoted educational system. So, let's skip to the features of the teacher education institutions. So, we will be having the numbers or number of years of preparing the teachers. So, student teachers, both primary and secondary, must complete a research thesis on the topic of their choice and must spend a full year teaching in a university affiliated training school before graduation. For the primary school teacher, they must have 4 years, while on secondary school teacher, they needed to have 5 years training program. For lead teachers and heads of child care centers, they must have bachelor's degree which consists of 4 years preparation, and for every child or every third stop person in a child care facility, they must have primary teacher certification which requires a master's degree. So, primary teachers, they have 4 years, but if you will be going to be a lead teacher or head of child care centers, you must have additional master's degree for 2 years, so a total of 6 years. While for vocational teachers, they must have a master's degree 2 years or a polytechnic degree 3.5 to 4 years. So why it is 3.5? Because there's a time span that it can be shortened if you have it earlier. That's why it is 3.5. But 4 years is the maximum for it to have a polytechnic degree. So let's proceed with the certifications. So when applying for a decision from the Finnish National Education or Finnish National Agency for Education, this is when you are outside the country of Finland. So you need to apply for the decision from the National Agency for Education in Finnish. So you must fill up in the electronic application according to the instruction, attach the required documents, and send the application to Finnish National Agency for Education. So it usually requires at minimum a bachelor's degree and a TEFL certificate. So teachers are required to have a master's degree including pedagogical studies and teaching practice. So a teacher in Finland must have master's degree and their minimum is bachelor's degree. It's kind of similar with the Philippines. So training for teacher in Finland is arranged by universities and vocational institutes of higher education. So for the preschool teachers, they needed to have a bachelor's degree in educational science, the extent of which is 180 credits ETC. So what is ETCS? So ETCS is European Credit Transfer and Accommodation System, which is a standard means for comparing academic credits. So, while on the classroom teachers, they needed to have a master's degree in educational science as well, just like in preschool, but 300 ETCS. So, it's more than 180, so additional 120 ETCS. So, this degree qualifies to serve as a classroom teacher and as a preschool teacher. The compulsory education in Finland lasts 9 years from the age of 7 to age of 16. So, classroom teacher is teaching 7 years old to 16 years old in Finland. So subject teachers gets a master's degree, the extent of which is 300 credits ETCS, just like a classroom teachers. So special education teachers gets a master's degree in educational science, 300 ETCS-CR. So the degrees qualifies to serve as a special education teacher in comprehensive school and as a school or classroom teacher. On the other hand, the vocational school teachers, as a rule, gets a degree at a university or at a vocational institution or institute of higher education. Then they work for a few years and after that, they do the pedagogical studies at a vocational institute of higher education to qualify to serve as teachers. So in conclusion, we can see the difference of preschool teachers. Preschool teachers need 180 credits, while classroom teachers, school or subject teachers, and special education teachers, they all get 300 ETCS. And the vocational teachers, there's no particular number of ETCS, but they needed to have a degree at a university or vocational institute. And that's it for my part. Thank you. The process of licensure will be discussed by Miss Permejo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Arce. So let us now proceed with the process of licensure. So these are the requirements that you need to have when you want to get a teaching license in Finland. So, first is to have a degree or qualification certificate. Next is the transcript of studies, proof of nationality such an extract from the population information system in Finland, or copy of the ID page of your passport. You also need to have a document verifying name change if it is applicable to you. If you change your name, then you must have this document with you when you want to get a teaching license in Finland. And then last is if you are an EU or EEA national and you apply for recognition of professional qualifications obtained in an EU or EEA member state or in any countries in EEA, then you can also submit certificates that shows your professional experiences, your certificates of life, and your certificates of lifelong learning when you want to get a teaching license in Finland. So those are the requirements that you need to have or to submit when you are getting a license in Finland. And your documents, it should you should provide a translation of each document into Finnish or Swedish or English language if the documents or the original document that you pass is in another language, so you need to provide a translation of each document. And if you're going to get a translator, that translator, he or she must be an authorized translator in Finland, or an official translator in the source country that works in the language pair in questions. Or if the translation that you have in your documents are done by the body that has issued the original documents, so it is also accepted. Okay, so if you're going to have a translator, it should be an authorized translator in Finland. Okay, so that is the process of licensure in getting a license in Finland. So the next reporter will be Miss Erandio. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Permejo. Good day, everyone. So now let's proceed to the features of level and system of education in Finland. So in Finland, education from pre-primary to higher education is free. And in addition, um, Finnish teachers are highly educated because they are required to have a master's degree. So from this, we can see that the teaching profession is a highly competitive career, and there is a high appreciation of this profession. Now, let's talk about the Finnish or Finland education system. So first, they have the early childhood education and care. So the age of the students under this level revolves around the age of 2 years old until 5 years old. So there is no years that the student must spend in this level because it is not required or it is not compulsory. So this level is similar to daycare. So the curriculum features of this stage is that it does not have an official curriculum because children are not taught letters or numbers or anything related to the academic. But um, in this stage, the children are the learning is focused on the interaction and play, which children learn about themselves and others. So, as you can see, the goal is to support the children's balanced growth, development, and learning. So, in this level, the children learn the importance of interaction. Another is they also learn the importance of building relationship and develop social leadership and interpersonal skills. So, how learning happens in this stage? So, learning happens through play or through games uh, and discovery and interaction with others. So, through this way of learning, the education system of Finland in this stage wants to lay a good foundation for the self knowledge of children and also to their social skills. It is to help the children to prevent any struggles that they may encounter or they may experience in their academic life. And that is the early childhood education and care. Next, we have the pre-primary or preschool level. So at this stage, the age of the students under this level is only 6 years old. And another is it is considered as grade 0 or the 0 class. And the children must attend the preschool education for 1 year. So the curriculum features of this level is that it aims to enhance the children's opportunities for learning and development. Meaning, the children learn skills that are useful in school, such as letters and numbers. So they are learning the basic knowledge that they must have. Another is it prepares the learner to basic education. So this level or this stage is a 1 year 1 year learning wherein the students are given the knowledge or the skills that they must have before they enter the compulsory or the required basic education. Another is the main focus of this is that is to develop the thinking skills and also the problem solving skills of the students. So children is taught at playful manner, meaning the teachers teach the students through play, through games and interaction, so they can develop or learn the basic knowledge, the basic skills, and prepare them for comprehensive education. After the pre-primary education, we have the primary or basic education. So at the age of 7, the students must attend or required to attend the basic education, which consists of 9 years. So it revolves around 7 years old to 16 years old. So the primary or basic education is divided into two, which are the primary level and the lower secondary level. In primary level, it starts with the age of 7 until the age of 13 and covers the grade 1 to 6. So the student must spend 6 years in this level. And the features of the curriculum is that the Finnish National Board of Education sets the national core curriculum, which defines the broad objectives for education. So the system is based upon the promotion of progressive values to create divergent and innovative learners who are curious, creative, open-minded, and respectful. So in primary level, there is a sense of community among students, parents, and teachers, because there is no competition between the students, and there is also no difference between having a private or, let's say, state education. So the responsibility of teaching the students is under the classroom teachers, who must have at least a master's degree with a specialization in education. Another is that in primary level, the students often have the same teacher for the first 6 years. So it is for the teacher to get to know the students, and also be able to develop the tuition to suit what are the needs of the students, and also to reach the goal for the students to learn how to think for themselves and also assume responsibility over their own learning. Another part of the basic education is lower secondary level. So after the primary level, the students will proceed to this stage wherein they must spend 3 years in learning. So it covers the grade 7 to 9. And the features of this level is that the Board of Education funds research projects and a large number of development programs. And these programs is committed to help the students learn from educational tools, the educational games, and also learning materials. So at this level, new technologies are used in collaboration with real classrooms, because children find this type of learning very interesting, and they are encouraged to develop and also design their own learning games. So there is engaging and instructive process of learning, because children are not taught to memorize any pieces of information that the teachers teach to them, and also at this stage there is no national exams, because the teacher is the one who evaluates the students' progress in school. So in comprehensive education or the basic education, all grades are given by the teacher. In comprehensive school, the students study a lot of compulsory subjects, and during the final grades of primary and secondary school, they can select optional subjects. So there are also recreational activities for children and extracurricular art education for them, and it is offered through dance, music, arts, and crafts, and other institutions. So the last for secondary education is the upper secondary. So it covers the grade 10 to 12, and the years the student must spend in this level is 3 to 4 years. So it varies depending on the students. So the curriculum features of this level is that the students are given two choices between general education and vocational education. General and vocational upper secondary education is free, meaning there is no tuition fee charge to the students if they want to study or choose between the two. So the means and the selection of the students are based on their past academic records or their grades in the basic education, which is the primary level and the lower secondary level. So let's talk first about general education. So in this level, it focuses mainly in humanities and natural sciences. So it has similarities with the comprehensive or basic education, but studies are more demanding and independent. So the difference of this level is that there is a national matriculation examination, and as I discussed earlier, in basic education there is no any national examination. So in general education, it takes 3 years to finish these studies, and after finishing, the students are eligible to apply to universities, and it also serves as their preparation to enter higher education. So next is the vocational education. So in vocational education, it is more practice oriented than the general education, because this form of education provides studies for a specific vocation. This level provides basic skills and knowledge that is required in a particular vocation. So the qualifications of vocational education can be finished in the BET, or the vocational education and training, or as competence-based qualification or apprenticeship training. So the competence-based qualifications are finished by adults, and the young learners finish their vocational upper secondary qualification at vocational institutions. So after completing the vocational upper secondary education, students can apply for further higher education if they want. So completing a vocational upper secondary qualification takes about 3 years. In addition, the students can complete a further vocational qualification or a specialist vocational qualification during their working career. As I said earlier, um, the students can obtain vocational qualification through apprenticeship training. So in this case, students work in jobs within their own field that they choose, and they can receive a salary that is at least equal to the training salary, and at the same time they can complete their studies. So that is the vocational education. So again, these are the education system in Finland, which start with the early childhood education and care, which provide the students before the beginning of compulsory education. So it just mainly focuses on the interaction and teaching the students to learn and develop their interpersonal skills. Next is the pre-primary education, which is only a 1 year duration for 6 years old. So the pre-primary education serves as the preparation of the students to before entering the basic education or the compulsory education. Next is the basic education, which is the required education, which the duration of this is 9 years for children aged 7 to 16. So as I discussed earlier, basic education is divided into two, which is the primary level and the lower secondary level. Next is the upper secondary education, which students can choose between the vocational education and training and general upper secondary education. So completing the vocational or the general upper secondary education can help the students or give the students the eligibility to apply or enter higher education. So after the upper secondary education, the students can pursue higher education, and this education are offered by the universities or the universities of applied sciences. So the time duration to complete a bachelor's degree in regular universities is 3 years, and the master's program is 3 years. So last is the adult education. Additional adult education and training in Finland's education system are added to provide education leading to a qualification, degree studies, apprenticeship, training, further and continuing education. So it's also to update and extend professional skills or studies in different subjects, different crafts, and or recreational basis. So for this stage of education, the training is either paid by the student or the employer that is facilitating the training. Another is mostly adult education is provided by the educational institutions, which is mainly for working professionals, private companies, and workplaces. So that is the educational system in Finland. Thank you for listening.